Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This simply proposes the addition of a sentence to the views and estimates, and while I'm not particularly encouraged about the potential of fulfilling its objective given the soft approach that the committee has taken on fraud today, I think it is important that we have a clear understanding of this issue. In an outrageous deal between Donald Trump and himself, Trump's personal criminal defense attorney, who's at the Justice Department now, reached an agreement to never audit the tax returns of Donald Trump, his family members, or the hundreds of affiliated businesses and trusts. For the average American who's out there trying to make ends meet, sometimes paying more in taxes than Donald Trump, the declaration that Trump seems to be making is that the rule of law applies to thee but not to me. Let's just review why the committee taking this action is important. Trump paid $750 in income taxes in 2016. I expect he's left bigger tips than that. He paid $750 again in 2017. In 2020, he had a really good year. He didn't pay anything. He reported tens of millions of dollars in losses year after year, claimed hundreds of millions in credits and deductions, and in one year after another, he paid less income taxes than a public school teacher in Austin, Texas. The Joint Committee on Taxation found that the IRS responded by assigning one single auditor under the mandatory presidential review program to review Trump's tax returns that encompassed over 400 pass-through Trump Organization entities. One auditor. The audit file itself stated in plain language that, quote, the lack of resources was the reason for not pursuing certain issues on the former president's return. Outgunned and under-resourced, the auditor failed to bring in specialists, failed to conduct original document reviews, and instead relied on what Trump's lawyers told him. He ignored the statutory requirement that there be a mandatory review of a presidential year return. And indeed, in Donald Trump's 4 years, and I expect last year too, not one single mandatory audit as required by statute. A statute put in place after another criminal Republican president and the Watergate scandal led to the establishment of the mandatory audit program. That is precisely why this settlement's audit ban is so dangerous. It wipes the slate clean. It buries evidence that was never properly examined in the first place. It makes permanent what was already an inexcusable failure of oversight. It was so terrible that within hours of the announcement of this deal, a Trump appointee who had only been in office 7 months after he was confirmed by the Senate, a Trump appointee must have seen this deal as so sordid that he resigned. Congress, and Congress alone, holds the power to write legislation. Congress never authorized the executive branch to unilaterally immunize the President of the United States from tax enforcement. Never in American history has a president pursued corruption on such a colossal scale. Trump and his personal attorney have done all that they can to insulate this agreement by dismissing their case from court in order to try to make it as difficult as possible to challenge it in the judicial system. It's congressional action that is required, and that's what this sentence is directed toward. My Republican colleagues continue to hold their hands and cede more and more power to Donald Trump. I say we can't continue to remain quiet. We need to stand up for the hardworking Americans who are out there paying an outrageous price for a gallon of gas while Trump lounges in his luxury jets and plans to dance to YMCA in his billion-dollar ballroom. I urge approval of the amendment.